Good afternoon, good evening, and good morning, wherever you are. And this is actually second take. If it's the first time you're seeing this, it's I had a technical error with Facebook before. It crashed for no reason. Maggie Downey, thanks for jumping on the live. I hope you are well. And obviously, when we say stay in your lane, it's generally look to have the blinkers on and you're looking to get from A to B as quickly as possible. I know I said in the video yesterday, it's a shortcut and it's not a good idea to do that either. However, where I'm going to come from this from a different perspective, Jose, thanks for jumping on, is obviously everybody knows if we talk about it from a water perspective, be it stagnant water is bad. Staying in one place is bad. Obviously, if we use the analogy anecdote of sport, and I use myself as the example, being the sport of basketball, what do I do when I get in a tight spot? You look at ways of getting out of it. Do I pass it? Do I shoot it? And look at it from that perspective. Whereas I think sometimes people get fixated on staying in one lane, doing it themselves, and that's not always the best way to do it. I know yesterday I said the contrary with that, but obviously that is, for argument's sake, you can come from both directions. Jay, thanks for jumping on the live. If, as always, if you're watching in the live, do put hashtag live, and if you are subsequently watching later on, do push hashtag replay, which I think for most that will be the case. And now that the kids have gone back to school as well in the UK, I know the US, some had already gone back, some are starting to go back. This is probably not the best time to be doing a Facebook Live, but I thought I'd do it anyway. And in terms of coming at it from a perspective of staying in your lane, I know it's on the one hand is a good thing because you're going to be not reminded, but straight focused on the outcome. And I'm talking about winning as opposed to success, what I talked about last week. And if some of you have not seen that, I'd implore you to go look at it or comment that you would like me to tag you in it, and you can see it from that perspective, because obviously from that outcome you will come out of this state of comfort, stagnation, and kind of push forward to move forward. But coming back to my point with obviously staying in your lane and doing it yourself, you kind of get to a point where it gets difficult. You get the rub of the green and things don't go well. And this is where, talking about obviously stagnant water, it stinks. You don't want people to go in it, be it a dog, a child, because it's something hard to get off. Whereas I think if you push forward and look for support, obviously somebody's going to help you out. You're not going to put yourself in that predicament in the first place. And coming back to the analogy of the basketball, be whatever position I'm put in, be it close to the basket, you're going to make decisions accordingly. So be it, I don't know, I'm in a shooting position, you shoot. If you doubled up, you pass. But whereas I think because you've not done those hours and hours of repetition and that has muscle memory, things like fitness, nutrition, and mindset become difficult because you're in a predicament where you haven't encountered that adverse situation before. So what do? You revert back to type, and you revert back to what is comfortable, what is routine, what is in itself routine, and then you obviously get into a bad place. Whereas if I'm back to the sporting analogy, a lot of this stuff for me, I'm on autopilot because not necessarily the one sport specifically, but because of the hours and hours of training I put in previously, I've got that base layer to go to Whereas I don't need to consciously think. I can unconsciously think of what scenario do I need to implement here to get myself out of trouble. And that's from a basis of sport where I think in the general populace at times people need to take from and look at the situation from a positive perspective as opposed to an adverse one, and look at it as not clear cut as a problem, but something to overcome, and come up with a solution to whatever it is. Take that step back and look at it on the bigger picture. So see, I've got a map behind me. Look at it at that perspective. You're looking at an outward perspective as that is my problem behind me. What do I need to do to get beyond it? So I hope you've enjoyed this video today, obviously on Facebook Live, the original format that is in. Like I do as always, I'm going to give a few shout outs and then I'm going to wrap up the video for another day. So Maggie, thanks again for jumping on. Jose, Mota, Jade, Marie, Jones. And as always, if you're watching this in the replay, do comment to my left as we're recording, and then subsequently be watching in the replay on your phone. I think it's below. So if you're watching now, I do implore you to wait for it to process and then start from the very beginning. So thanks again, Dave and Holly, for jumping on, and I'll speak to you guys very soon.